Hey real estate investors, James Wise with Holton-Wise. What I've got for you today are 3 duplexes starting at $24,900. Now all 3 of these duplexes are on the very low end of the pricing spectrum. And what we're going to do today, we're going to go through these investments. We're going to talk about the pros and the cons. And on top of that, I've actually got complete third-party inspection reports on 2 of them with a full video tour on the 3rd. Let's dive in. The first one I want to go through is 3941 Newark Ave, Cleveland 44109. This is in the old Brooklyn neighborhood. Holton-Wise, we've got hundreds of properties in this neighborhood. Admittedly, this property, this is in the rougher part of this neighborhood. I would consider this to be a very, very low C, high D neighborhood. Do we manage hundreds of assets in this neighborhood? Absolutely. We have no problem managing this asset for you after you buy it. But the purpose of this video and what I really want to just delve into today is understanding what these types of assets are all about. You see, when I sell people a duplex for $29,900 that's got a market rent of $1,300, people, they get inspection reports on these things and they see a lot of repairs and they think that they have to spend all of their money repairing every single thing that pops up on these repairs or every single thing that is wrong with the property. And that's not exactly the case. We need to make these homes safe and habitable, but we have to understand that there is a neighborhood around this house with comparable homes just like it. And what we need to do, we need to renovate these properties up to the standards of the neighborhood. So if you're looking for a pristine property, a property that will be beautiful and shiny, this is absolutely not the property for you. We have those properties available in the Cleveland market. If we go more towards the south end of this old Brooklyn neighborhood, we can absolutely get you those properties. However, you're going to be spending between $75,000 and $85,000 for the same amount of rent. What you're getting here is typically about the same amount of rent, but for a fraction of the cost. However, the homes are not going to be pristine, and sometimes you may or may not run into additional issues with that tenant base. When you're working in these types of assets, these types of neighborhoods, there's going to be some things in these homes that perhaps these are the first time you're seeing these types of things. Like in this particular unit, you just see a ton of clutter. There's just stuff everywhere. The unit isn't necessarily very clean. We've got cords and wires running along the wall in the doorway. You don't see any window coverings, or if you do see window coverings, they're kind of sloppy, or sometimes it's just a sheet. The floor in this kitchen, as you'll see, the vinyl floor has been pulled up, and this is just a subfloor. Now, do we want to let the next tenant at the next turnover try to rent a property with a floor that looks like that? Absolutely not. But this particular unit, we've got this person who's been living in that unit for many years. This particular person in this unit is actually the owner of the home. This is just how sometimes people live, and this is just the types of properties you can expect. So we need to make repairs to get the home safe and habitable and rentable again, but they're never going to be perfect properties. And the types of people moving in and out of properties in this neighborhood don't necessarily expect them to be perfect. What we want to do to this unit when this person moves out, because again, this is actually the owner. We need to go through this whole unit, repaint the entire thing one color. As you see, we got a green bedroom and we got a pink bedroom, we got a blue hallway. We're going to go through this and paint this whole unit all gray, and then we're going to go ahead and replace the kitchen cabinets. We're going to put a new vinyl allure floor, and then we're going to fix up and button up any of the other things that are going to come on a third-party inspection report. I would anticipate we're going to spend between $6,000 and $10,000 totally renovating that unit. and then we will get a market rent of $650 a month, and it will be a pristine looking unit even though the overall building itself is pretty old. Now, as we go into the upstairs unit, as you can see, it's a lot of the same stuff. You know, very similar to what that downstairs unit that's occupied by the owner is. It's very, very cluttered. There's just a ton of crap every which way. This particular tenant has been in this property for many, many years. I'm told by the owner, who's also the seller, that this tenant has been there for over 5 years. Now, here's the thing. Unlike the downstairs unit, even though this unit rather, looks messy and it's not something you would probably want to live in, we don't really need to spend any money up front. This tenant has been there for many years. This tenant is currently paying $600 a month. Would I move into this unit? No, I wouldn't. Would I want my children or my wife or anything like that to move into a unit like this? No, not at all. But hey, who are we to judge? This is how certain people are living, and this person is very happy paying that $600 a month. So what you need to do as a landlord, as an astute real estate investor, take the property over, fix the necessary things, take care of that downstairs unit, put your money in down there, bring yourself a tenant at $650. In this upstairs tenant, let them ride as long as they want at $600 a month. It is not a good investment to spend $6,000 to $10,000 renovating this unit now in an effort to get a new tenant just paying you an extra $50 a month. This old tenant, we know they're good for the money. They have a solid history of paying and they want to stay there. That additional $50 a month, you're not going to be able to recoup that in a short period of time getting a brand new tenant. It just doesn't make sense. So you absolutely want to let this thing ride. What we need to focus on spending our money on is that downstairs unit, and we need a new roof on this building. Now, this roof that you're seeing on the drone footage here, this roof is over 25 years old. These roofs typically last about 30 years, but this roof is pretty darn old. We definitely want to spend the money to get this thing replaced. So what I recommend doing immediately is spending about $5,000 to $6,000 getting a brand new roof, spending between $6,000 and $10,000 upgrading everything in that downstairs unit, and you'll have $650 downstairs, $600 upstairs, and then when that tenant upstairs finally does move out, spend about the same amount of money upstairs, and you'll get a new tenant at $650. So you're bringing in a total of $1,300 a month in rent for a $29,000 asset that you spent roughly $15,000 getting off the ground. I don't know anywhere else in the country where you could bring in $1,300 a month in rent for $45,000 and you'll have a brand new roof. Now, inspectors, when they look at these properties, because I'm going to want you to do a home inspection so you know exactly what you're getting, they're going to draw up very long inspection reports for you, and they're going to break down every single thing that is wrong with these properties. These homes are 70, 80, 100 years old. So when these inspectors, they go through these things with a fine-tooth comb, they're going to list every single thing that they see that is not exactly up to today's building standards. So after we get back from the commercial break, the next two properties I've got, I actually already put those under contract with another buyer who ordered inspection reports. Those deals fell apart, so we're going to be able to comb through those entire inspection reports line by line so I can really explain to you guys exactly what you need to look at when you see one of these 40-page inspection reports and you get a little scared thinking, oh, I need to fix every single thing in the world on this house. That is not necessarily the case when you're dealing with 100-year-old homes and these types of neighborhoods. So let's go to a commercial and then we'll dive into those properties.
Holton-Wise has a worldwide audience of real estate investors. If you are a lender, home inspector, or anyone else with a real estate related business who would like to increase your sales and exposure with an ad in one of our videos, go to Holton-Wise.com today. We've built a completely automated sales and investing process here at Holton-Wise. You are able to go from spectator to real estate investor with a few clicks of the mouse. However, we understand that this automated process isn't for everyone. If you have enjoyed all of the free content on the Holton-Wise YouTube channel and Holton-Wise.com, but want to dive in even deeper with a more personalized investing experience, You can sit down and talk shop with James Wise directly. Visit Holton-Wise.com to schedule a one-on-one coaching session today.
Welcome back. Let's get right into it. 3632 West 47th, Cleveland, Ohio 44102. Now this duplex, I've got this thing priced at $24,900. The up, it's bringing in $495. That down, it's bringing in $425. So that's a total of $920 a month in rent. Now, similar units like this, we can get those rents up to $600 and $500. So this has the ability to generate $1,100 a month in rent, but it's not going to generate $1,100 a month in rent without a turnover. So again, I think in the best interest of you as an investor, I think you should ride out the two current tenants that are already in this property. Turnover is the biggest return killer. You don't want to make any more turnover costs. Do not create artificial turnover. When you're investing in these low price assets, obviously the rent to price yield is great, but what hurts you are those turnover costs. Renovating these units, that's what's going to hurt. So never, ever renovate units when you don't have to. Never make paying tenants move out of these properties, because those turnover costs are going to be the biggest killer to your return. I mean, when you got a building like this, your rents, they're extremely high. Your price, I mean, $24,900, that's ridiculous. Like, what is that? The cost of a Kia? And the other thing too, when you're buying real estate, the cheaper the real estate is, the cheaper the taxes are. The taxes on this property are only $447 a year, and it's not going to go up very much because you're buying it for only $24,900. So it's always going to remain incredibly low. So we definitely just got to do whatever we can to reduce that turnover. And what we need to do is only repair major safety items, because when that turnover does occur, you're not going to get a brand new tenant to live in a unit where someone else has lived there for multiple years and it looks gross and grimy and nasty, right? We have to spend $5-6 grand on a unit like that because it hasn't been hardened. You know, this has been ran by a private landlord. When Holton-Wise comes in, we do nice, sophisticated renos and we harden the units, so every single turnover isn't going to be $5-6 grand, but absolutely both of the units in this building, you could anticipate them being $5-6 grand, because based on the inspection report, cosmetically, they don't look super great. But let's go through this inspection report, and I want to point out some things that you may get scared and think you need to address, and other things you think you don't need to address. I want to go through all of it right now so you have an idea of what you need to put into a low value property like this. On page 6, it's titled Grounds Up Top. You know, as you're going to see, the concrete, there's just a ton of cracking in that driveway. Now, Cleveland is not a point of sale city. What that means, some cities, they have point of sale violation. So every single time you sell a property, the city has to come out and see if there's any violations. Things like cracked driveways are going to be big ticket items that you're going to have to spend a lot of money on if you're buying property in like a Garfield Heights or maybe a Euclid. Cleveland, we don't have to worry about any of that. So this driveway, yes, it's cracked. Is it perfect? No. But you know, if you want like a perfect property, a 119-year-old property priced at $25,000, that's not the product that you're looking at. So if you want that, that's great. I'll sell it to you. It's going to cost about $80,000. Keep watching my videos. If you're looking to get in the game at a really, really low price and still get extremely high rents, these are the things you're going to have to accept. You're going to have cracking in your driveways, and you don't have to fork over a bunch of money. We can absolutely still continue to rent this building to tenants for market rent so long as the inside looks great. So this driveway, it's not really a big deal, so I don't want you worrying about that right now. Moving on to page 7, also titled Grounds Up Top. Now, the inspector has cited this rear porch. Now, this is a structural issue. This is a safety concern. Now, the cheapest way to handle this, it doesn't make any sense to like totally rebuild this porch. The porch, again, something that's not going to add a lot of rental value here. Cheapest thing we could do, totally remove the porch and just replace it with some concrete steps, you know, like a prefab kind of thing, or maybe we have one of the guys just build a brand new set of wood steps. It's a very simple job, only going to run around $1 grand, maybe $2 grand at the most. No big deal. Do you need to do it the exact day you buy the property? No, it's the middle of winter right now. As I'm filming this, it's the 2nd of January, so it's very, very cold. This might be something that could wait till the springtime, but this is something you as the owner definitely wants to address. We always want to address safety concerns when we're working on these properties. Page 10. This isn't actually a problem necessarily, but something I really want to point out to real estate investors. I'm here to help you make as much money possible. What you got there, that's for the hose. That's for you to hook up your hose, wash your cars, water your lawn. When you're investing in real estate out here in the Cleveland market in one of these duplexes, you as the owner, you have to pay for all the water and the sewer. The tenants, they don't pay for any of that. So like I said, when Holton-Wise, when we do these properties and we do your renovations, we harden these units and we make them as profitable as we can for you as real estate investors. So this right here, what I'd like to see happen is when Holton-Wise does some work at this house, we should go into that property and we need to remove that. We go ahead and just remove all exterior hose hookups so the tenants can't wash their cars, fill up swimming pools, water the lawn. These are all things that are just going to kill your return, and they don't add any value to your property as a rental asset. So that's something we absolutely, let's get rid of that. Let's put that money in your pocket where it belongs. On page 11, the inspector, he has cited a bunch of issues with the roof. He's got in here, roof has newer blue shingles on the south side and very old deteriorated shingles on the north plane. 3+ layers of shingles noticed on entire roof. 2 layers, the maximum amount recommended. Recommended roofer evaluate entire roof because more than 2 layers noticed. Budget for 3+ layer tear off and shingles in the immediate future following roofer recommendation. Now, let me just make this super simple for you. What that means is your roof is shot, man. You don't have to actually pay for a roofer to go out and look at this. You don't want to half-ass this or put a Band-Aid on this. The roof is over 25 years old. These roofs are going to last about 30 years. What the inspector's telling us right now is this roof is shot. So don't worry about getting a guy out there to try to hodgepodge this up. You need to budget $5,000, maybe $6,000. Holton-Wise will send our team in there and we'll totally do a complete tear off, replace the whole roof, and then you don't need to worry about it for another 30 years. Page 15, it's labeled exterior up top. What I want to talk about here is the inspector, he's noticing issues with the windows. These are old windows, like these are probably original to the property. So what I think you should do, you don't want to spend any money messing around with fixing up these windows. The move here would actually be to totally replace the windows. You can replace windows like this for around $150, $200 a window. But if you spend that money on replacing those windows, and I'm not saying you have to do it right now. There's already tenants in there. I'm thinking like when one of these tenants moves out, again, we don't want to create artificial turnover because that's going to kill our return. But when one of these tenants moves out, what I'd like to see happen, what I'd really like to do to unlock the value in this property is go ahead and replace the windows with vinyl windows, because then when you replace those windows and you have those vinyl windows, this property will probably pretty easily pass a Section 8 inspection, and we could rent this out to Section 8 tenants. That's probably going to get you an extra $100 to $150 per unit in rent. On top of that, it's government guaranteed. So when we're in these neighborhoods where there's low value properties, again, the taxes, they're super low, the prices, they're super low. The reason, it's the risk when these tenants don't pay rent. So if we could eliminate that risk, eliminate those turnovers by getting government guaranteed pay, that is perfect, and that's how you're going to be an incredibly profitable rental property owner. Doing that kind of stuff is how I've made a lot of my fortune. So that's just a good tip. Wouldn't worry about those right now, but again, don't worry about fixing them. Let's just swap them at the next turnover, and then maybe we go Section 8 on this property. Now going on to page 18, you'll see that kitchen. According to the inspector, everything is marginal. It's in pretty decent shape. Now, it's dirty, it's gross, so of course when we're doing that turnover, that's why it's going to cost, $5, $6 grand. We're probably going to need to replace cabinets, make it pretty for the next tenants, but no major issues cited on the inspection report here, so that's great. Page 20, the bathroom. All looks pretty good in that bathroom, nothing much to say there. Beds in the living rooms are cited here in that first unit. No issues there. Again, when that tenant moves out, they're going to be dirty, they're going to be gross, so we just clean them up. No money spent there. Moving on to page 24, the other unit's kitchen, just like the first unit. Everything appears to be in pretty good shape. No immediate issues, no money we need to worry about spending. On page 27, we can see that everything in the bathroom for the second unit checks out pretty well. So again, no major money needs to be spent there. Moving on to page 34, it appears as though we've got some type of corrosion in a cast iron pipe. It's an incredibly old pipe, so very simply, we just want to send our team in there, get that pipe replaced. In the description below, there's going to be a link to our renovation video. Whenever you need a quote for a renovation bid, that explains our process as well as our timelines to a T. That is how we do every single renovation. That's also available on our FAQ at Holton-Wise.com. So I don't know the exact amount because I haven't sent the team in to get a quote for this, and every job's going to vary. But if you spent more than $1,000 handling that pipe, I would be shocked. So that's pretty small potato stuff. You know, on page 35, he's talking about the hot water tanks. You know, at the beginning when we run the addresses of these properties, we put that fact sheet out. The hot water tanks in this building, both of them are about 19 years old. So we're living on borrowed time here with these hot water tanks, guys. They normally last about 15 years. So we're 4 years into extra innings on both of these tanks. So we're not going to worry about spending any money fixing these things. We're going to ride them out until they stop working. As soon as they stop working, boom, you spend $1,000, you replace them. So go ahead and pencil in $2,000 in the next 12 months. Can I guarantee you got to spend that $2,000 to replace these in the next 12 months? No, but what I don't want to do is let you sit there and think you shouldn't expect to replace these soon. Because again, we're on borrowed time, so that is a cost that you should reasonably expect to have to spend when you buy this property. As for the furnaces, the inspector noted that one was over 35 years old and he couldn't really see the other one. There's just a bunch of crap in the basement. Based on everything else in this house, there's no reason to believe that that other furnace is brand new. So assume you've got two really, really old furnaces. Same thing with those hot water tanks. You don't really need to do anything. You're just going to ride these out till they stop working. They're working currently today. The tenants are getting heat. Everything is fine today. So the day you buy the building, you don't need to spend the money replacing them. But when they do go down, we're just going to replace those. You're looking at a cost of about $3,000 per furnace to get a brand new furnace. Once you get a brand new furnace, you don't need to worry about it for another 30 years. Last thing I want to talk about this inspection report, on page 39, the inspector couldn't actually get to the electric panels because there's just so much crap in the basement. Again, this is real estate investing, guys. It's not always glamorous. It's not super fancy. And if you're looking for something super fancy, clean and crisp, it's absolutely not going to be a $25,000 duplex. So adjust your expectations for your budget, guys. He couldn't get to the panels. From his vantage point, it appeared as though they were upgraded. So we could go ahead and assume those are upgraded breaker panels. But, you know, at the next turnover, when we get all that crap out of there, if it turns out that they are fuses, which it's pretty rare that they would be because you get the whole new box, and you know the inspector, he's familiar with these properties, he could tell it's a newer box, so it's unlikely that they're fuses. But for whatever reason, if they were, you know, just pencil in $1,000 or $2,000 to get all that stuff buttoned up. Now we're going to go to another commercial break, and then I'm going to break down the inspection report on the next duplex just like this one.
You would never buy a property without a building inspection, right? The thing is, the inspection is limited to the building itself. The profitability of a real estate investment is not just about the four walls and a roof you're buying, it's also about the neighborhood, rental demand, and tenant base. Before you risk your hard-earned money on a deal that you come across on your own, go to Holton-Wise.com to purchase a video analysis of that property today. Make sure you're subscribed to our investor mailing list. We are going to send you an email with the latest investment properties for sale every single day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can expect a full video offering just like what you've seen today in every one of these emails.
All right, welcome back. Let's get into the last property for the day, 3615 West 52nd, Cleveland 44102, also priced at $24,900, just like the property on West 47th. 2 beds, 1 bath in each unit. Rents are similar to the one on West 47th. We're getting $495 up, $459 down for a total $954. On the fact sheet there, we got the up and down market rents at $600 or a total of $1,200. Honestly, that's a little low. We could probably get those up to $650 as well. So like $600, $650. I don't want to promise you $650 and then we end up renting it for $600. You know, I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver. You know, this is a dangerous business, and I think people that overpromise and underdeliver are very dangerous for real estate investors like you. So I like to put all the negatives out there. That's why you see my Tenants from Hell content, because a lot of bull is going to happen when you're a real estate investor. And my goal, even if you don't ever buy property from Holton-Wise, I want you to at least be able to come to this channel and learn, educate. I want you to tell your friends, hey, if you're thinking about investing in real estate, it doesn't have to be in Cleveland. Check out the Holton-Wise page, because these guys, they break it down. They break down the good, the bad, and the ugly. So again, that's why I put $600 on there, but realistically, we could probably get it up to $650. Taxes, they're a little higher than West 47th, but they're low as hell, man. $681 a year. Property's still incredibly old. It was built in 1910 as opposed to 1900. Truth be told, if I was going to buy one or the other, I would probably buy this property on West 52nd before I bought the one on West 47th. Now, going through the inspection report, you know, it's not going to take as long because throughout the inspection, the inspector actually thought this property was in better condition than West 47th. You know, you look on page 6 there, you know, the concrete, he's got this listed as satisfactory and marginal. So even right there, outside of the rip, it's not a big deal at West 47th, but that's a big deal we don't even have to worry about with this property on West 52nd. So concrete and everything's looking pretty good. Now the roof, just like the last property, according to the inspector, it's past its usable life. It's only got 1 layer, but it's not in good shape. So just do it right. Pencil in another $5,000 to $6,000 to replace this roof. That is a cost you're going to want to do in the first year of ownership. You're not going to need to do anything during the winter. We're not replacing roofs in February when there's 2 feet of snow. But come springtime, you know, Holton-Wise, we're going to want to get out there and replace that roof. Now, moving on to page 16, he's talking about some issues with that garage. Just a standard 2-car lean-to garage, very common in the Cleveland area. You know, the roof, if you want to replace that roll roof, it's about $1,000 to $2,000. But to be honest with you, these garages, these are not incredibly important. You know, it's very important when you're looking at these properties and you're thinking about renovating these properties to focus on what else is out there, what your competition is doing. You don't want to over-renovate a property. You don't want to make your property so much different than the remaining ones in the neighborhood, because the neighborhood's the biggest thing that's going to select your tenant base. And a lot of the other properties in this area, you know, when the garages get all beat up like this, I mean, these are 100-year-old garages, people just tear them down and they don't really add that much value. So if you want to put $1-2 grand fixing up the garage, that's cool. It's a small amount of money. But you could also spend about the same amount of money and just have Holton-Wise tear that garage down, and then you've never got to worry about the garage again. You know, I'll leave that to you as the investor. It's your call. Me, I'd probably just tear it down. Page 21, per the inspector, that kitchen looks like it's in pretty good shape. You know, looking at these photos too, I mean, honestly, those cabinets, they look pretty good. The floor actually looks pretty good too. So at turnover, you know, I would say we're probably looking only at painting the cabinets. We're probably not replacing those. So the turnover cost of this unit will probably be pretty low. Bathroom on page 23, everything appears to check out. Page 24, what I like about this is another tip. It's another pro tip for you guys. If you look at the pictures here, these 6 photos, what I see all types of little knickknacks and things on the walls. It reminds me of like somebody's grandma's house. What knickknacks and a bunch of stuff on the walls. Like I know in the first property, the Newark property, it was like really cluttered and it was kind of gross. And that scares a lot of people because they're not, you know, expecting it to look like that. This is obviously a much more neat and clean version of that. But both of those things, what you need to look, what I see there, I see money, right? Because the biggest killer to us making money as real estate investors, it's turnover, okay? Prices, you can't beat these prices, guys. We all get it. 29 grand, 24.9, 24.9, all 1,200 plus in rent. You can't do that anywhere else in the world. What kills us, right? It's the turnover cost, replacing tenants, getting tenants who don't pay. When I see a ton of crap in a unit, or I see little knickknacks on the walls like this, I see a tenant who's not nomadic. I see a tenant who's got no intention. Oh, looks like my light just went out, but it's okay. We're on the home stretch of this video, so we're just going to plow through it in the dark. What I see a tenant who's got no intention of moving out. I see a tenant who wants to stay there. And you as a landlord, that's what you want, especially when we're in these lower value neighborhoods. Because again, your price, it's amazing. Your rents, they're amazing. But what the risk out there is, it's you spending all that money on turnovers. So when you see stuff like this, that is a good sign. Can I guarantee you that this tenant doesn't get hit by a bus tomorrow? No, I can't guarantee that. But as real estate investors, we can't eliminate risk. Risk is part of the business, but we can mitigate it. So if I have the option to buy one of these properties and I see a nice sign like that, I'm very happy. Moving on to page 40, the inspector, he's talking about, the HVAC, and then on page 41, he's talking about the electric panels. Electric panels totally upgraded. I've got the fact sheet on the screen for you again so you can see the age of all the mechanicals at this property. So that's all three properties. As you can tell, we went through the Newark property. We don't have our own inspection. So what you want to do, you want to go ahead and make an offer on that property and get it contingent on your own inspection. And you'll get a full 40-page, 50-page inspection report just like we had for West 47th and West 52nd. If you want to make offers on 47th or 52nd, since we've already went ahead and done an inspection, this was something that another buyer, he hired this inspector. This is a third-party inspector. It's already been done, so what we want you to do is go ahead and just make as-is offers. Shoot me an email and I'll get you the full reports. I laid them out for you in this video, but we'll also email those to you in a PDF so you could see the good, the bad, the ugly. I don't want to hide any of the negatives to these properties. They all obviously have a considerable amount of negatives or issues. So I want to just get that all out there for you so you understand what you're buying. If all three of these properties, if you think they're too rough and that's not how you envision yourself as a real estate investor, that's totally okay. We sell assets of all classes. We are the #1 seller in Cleveland, so we're giving you everything that the market has to offer. I know there's a ton of demand for these types of properties, so I imagine I'm going to have multiple offers. So when you do make offers, I want you to have your proof of funds and your pre-approval letters ready to make those offers. Just send me an email, jameswise@holtonwise.com. You don't have to buy all three. You could buy any one of them. Again, you're going to want to get an inspection on Newark. I've provided the inspections for you here in the video. For the other two, I'll email those to you. And if you want something a little bit better, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Keep watching the channel. We've got duplexes very similar to this in much better shape. Those are going to run you between $75,000 and $85,000. On top of that, we've got single families, apartment buildings. You name it, we've got it. As always, I'm James Wise with Holton-Wise, and this is Real Estate Investing Made Easy.
Cleveland, Ohio is widely considered to be one of the top rental markets in the entire United States. This is because here in Cleveland, our housing prices are low and our rental prices and demand are high. At Holton-Wise, we provide the complete turnkey solution for all real estate investors, whether they are local, out of state, or even abroad. As real estate brokers, we will provide you with agent representation to help you buy properties ranging from single-family homes to large apartment complexes. We even have referrals for lenders who can provide investment property loans to investors located in all 50 states, allowing you to capitalize on the use of leverage or other people's money. We have referrals to top-notch title companies, so you know that all of your transactions are safe and secure, with every single property being delivered to you with clear title. Once you close on the property, we have an investor-focused insurance brokerage who can handle all your property insurance needs. This insurance brokerage handles auto, home, life, and business policies, but they specialize in working with policies for landlords. We also have full-service property management. We can handle all rental property advertisements, tenant placement, rent collection, evictions, maintenance, landscaping, construction, and repairs. In addition, Holton-Wise also offers digital media and education. One day, when you are ready to sell your investment, Holton-Wise, as the #1 seller of investment properties in the greater Cleveland area, can market your property in a video just like this one to our worldwide base of investors who are looking to capitalize on the high cash flow opportunities in the Cleveland, Ohio market. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our latest content, including video tours and analysis of investment properties that are available for sale, real estate investment education, and our most interesting encounters with tenants from hell. Holton-Wise, real estate investing made easy.